Well, I guess it's time to get out of the sauna and do a walkthrough of my home gym. It literally took months of going online and grabbing measurements to ensure that this rack would fit in the space I've allotted while still lining up to allow access to the hot tub sauna garden while at the same time fitting vertically. I was able to pick up the new bells from Bells of Steel. It's the only place in Canada had red new bells at the time of when I built my gym. Clear access through the rack was a necessity, and there could be no uprights blocking access to the stairs of the hot tub. Having the second bay for a squat area makes life easier. Alternatively, reps open trap bar can be used here for camber squats. Eventually, this area will also house a rack attachment for a Smith machine. The squat bar or the open trap bar can also be used with wedges on the floor for standing calf raises. For my purposes, I found the best location for the swing arms was inside the rack. This does limit their function a bit, but provides better stability and a more compact footprint. For weight storage, I was able to utilize the area dedicated to the cable portion of the rack. With the heavier plates stored at the horizontal that pull down cross member and the lighter weights on the horns off the top cross member. Of course, no home gym would be complete without a flag flying, and this gym is flying the Bells of Steel Manticore flag. The open concept of the rack also presented itself on the top end, as there was a tile underneath the rubberized gym floor. Wood dimensional lumber was utilized to create a friction tie on the ceiling, wedging the rack in snugly to prevent movement while allowing unobstructed access. Having an assortment of grips is essential for pull-downs, rows, and landmine work. One of the top cross members is ideal storage place for the handles from the Hydra swing arms when they're not in use. Placing them up on the cross members also allows for them to be used for various pull-up exercises with both narrow and thick grips. The lock and pins that held the swing arms in place were removed, as I found using the side holes more than adequate and easier to adjust the arms when they need to be moved. At some point, I will be punching out the 5/8 holes to an inch and getting a set of magnetic rack attachment pins to secure them to the rack. Like the larger bumper plates, the change plates also stored in the area assigned for the cable mechanism. So far, the only issue with the storing the plates like this comes with using the swing arms to perform a military press exercise. And the solution is just to move the interchange plates out a bit on the storage pins. Speaking about military press, the Hydra arms fit perfectly within the frame of the Manticore rack. I know Bells of Steel states that the Hydra arms will not fit inside the Hydra rack, but seeing is believing. Okay, if anyone actually watched this video, don't contact Bells of Steel for the Hydra arms that will fit inside the Manticore rack, as these arms were modified to fit inside this rack. Though I do have to say the modification was rather straightforward and simple to complete. One complaint I do have is on the diameter of the weight horns attached to the lever arms opening grip handles. With most of my home gym bars, I do not use collar locks when lifting. Lifting alone, I feel a bit safer with the knowledge of being able to potentially angle the bar to drop weights if an emergency were to occur. With the lever arms, I found the weight starts walking off the horns during the lift, and for some reason the diameter of the horns is smaller than any collar I own. For a bench, I picked up an adjustable Inspire. The bench has optional attachments, a preacher's curl attachment, and a leg extension and curl attachment. Inspire also makes a nice stand that holds both of their attachments securely. The one drawback I've found with the bench is is its total length. The length is great for bench work, but it becomes a bit congested when used with the rack. One of the items I keep from my previous rack is the Ghost roller cups. The cups are a bit snug on the Manticore rack, but that's an easy to fix remedy. In 2018, I had won fitness competitions and was in fantastic shape. Then for some reason, every time I'd go to the gym, there'd be no one there. At this time in my life, I was working away from home almost 3 out of every 4 weeks. Even stranger than the gym being closed when I would show up to a restaurant, they would all seem to be closed for the day just before I arrived. Unfortunately, this resulted in 2 possible scenarios. The first being trying to prepare food without a kitchen, or eat at fast food restaurants 3 times a day. I choose the latter. On December 5th, 2022, I was flown to St. Paul's Hospital, dying. 3 months later, with the work of some phenomenal surgeons, fantastic nurses, and all-around great hospital staff, I was getting ready to start into the cardiac rehabilitation program. This 15-pound trainer bar with a few ounces of weight was the absolute maximum I was able to bench press. Besides the bumper plates, this storage rack holds most of the traditional weights in my gym. Oddly, this storage rack was not designed to hold bumper plates, though it does hold a couple curl bars and a tricep bar. I do have to admit, I'm addicted to the fat grip attachments, especially the 4-foot lap bar. As I stated when I was designing this space with a tape measure and online measurements, I was hoping everything would fit into place. The reason for construction of the bulkhead started because I wanted the cable attachment at least 84 inches, and short of cutting into the ceiling and ductwork, the only other solution was to add a punch-on onto the cross members to support a shorter cross member that the bracing for the cable pull-down would be secured to. Being there was already a short upright being utilized for this, I decided to add another punch-on in the middle upright and then secure the cross members across the ducting to avoid a potential head height obstruction into the rack. At this point, adding a third punch-on and keeping the entire build consistent only made sense. The new bells I purchased from Bells of Steel look nice sitting where they are in their rack. However, I'm hoping to manufacture a storage cross member for those kettlebells, as when I go to the storefront this fall, I'd like to complete my set and need a better place to store them. And of course, no home gym would be complete without knick-knack and lifting belt storage space. The white Einzer belt is one of my earlier ones. I'm looking forward to the day when it fits again. There's still cardio room and room for deadlifting, but that's pretty much my home gym.